Alright, so I know I haven't done any reviews in a while, so I'm back with another review today for you guys. It's going to be a playing card review today. I've been getting a lot of requests to review some different decks. Most of the decks that I've been requested to do I don't have, such as Stingers, Aladdins, etc. But I have heard, just as a quick notice, that Aladdins suck, so that's up to your discretion whether you want to get them or not. I've also gotten a lot of requests for Illusionist decks. I have one of each Illusionist deck, not any Arcanes or Masters. I'm probably not going to do a review for them because, two reasons. One, almost all the Illusionist decks came out a while back, and there have been a number of reviews, good reviews on there, especially from guys like Cards Are Fun, other people like that, so if you want a review on them, just check them out. Secondly, I really don't like Illusionist cards, and I'm not going to have a 10-minute rant video of me bashing cards. I really think they're only good for like flourishing. No, I don't like them for Magic or anything like that. But anywho, on to the review. The review today is for Bicycle 125th Anniversary Edition. I actually bought 6 of these decks. I got them from Walmart for about $4 a pack. You can get them online. They're obviously, most likely on eBay. You can get them at Theory 11 and on probably any card shop. I have 2 decks that I've played around with and used a little bit, and 2 decks in new condition. We'll start off with the box. Box has a shiny finish on the top, as you can see, because it reflects light easily. It says Bicycle Anniversary Edition, has the Liberty Ace of Spades, I think that's what that is. The playing cards right there, 125th Anniversary Edition and the year. Standard size anniversary face on the top. It has a special seal, says 125 years on it, and on the bottom it has your barcode, all the information like printed in Erlanger, Kentucky, all that jazz. Sides just says 125th Anniversary Edition on both sides. Both decks are exactly the same. I'll do the blue one for the review. Okay, normal box. Pull it out, you get 2 ad cards. One has historical highlights of Bicycle. Those are actually some pretty interesting facts. Same thing on this side, which with a background of a card. I actually really like that color. They should redo a deck in that color. The second one is just some information about the Bicycle company. And on this side, it has a blue back. I also like that baby bluish color. Bicycle, if you're watching this, do a deck with those backs. Also do like a green deck. That'd be awesome. Anyway, first onto the backs. It's a dark blue color. I don't think it's as dark as the regular Bicycle decks, but that's just me. I don't really have one to compare it to. Has some nice like interweaves, almost like a Celtic design in the middle. And similar to the Tally-Ho fan back, it has 4 corners with guys riding a bicycle in each corner, obviously for Bicycle Playing Card Company. Now, the Jokers. It actually comes with 2 Jokers per deck. One is the 2010 Joker. Second is the 1885 Joker. It says Best Bauer or something like that on top. Really nice Jokers. I like that there's no ad on the face of the Jokers. Just makes it more elegant and, aesthetically pleasing. I guess that's what you would call it. Next up is the Ace of Spades. Again, it's the Liberty Ace. Same one that's on the face of the box. The pips up on the corners are very small as compared to like regular Bicycle decks or Tally-Hos. They also have the year underneath, which is pretty cool, 1885 to 2010. Playing cards US in the middle, right there. So it's a pretty elegant look throughout. All the other cards are the same as this in the sense that on the edges they have the years, and different from the regular decks because they are like studs and arcos when they have the more rounded diamonds and edges and things like that. It gives it more of that old style look. As you can see with the court cards, they look like a deck that you would find from like the medieval times. If you've ever seen pictures of those, they just look, I guess, more unrefined, but they still have an interesting look to them. I don't really know how to explain it, but you'll probably understand what I mean. Let's look a few court cards here. The Queen is a really good example. Has like that slanted face going on. It just looks really nice. Two things about this deck that are kind of downsides to it. The first is, in face-out fans, because the pips are like Arcos and studs and printed farther away from the side, and they're also very small, it's harder to see the pips in the fans. It does give an interesting look, as you can see, like little colors right here, but I don't know. It's just harder to make your fans look even, so they do look better backs out. And the second point is actually about the backs. The backs do not have the same shiny finish as on the box. I must say, if these cards were holographic, I would probably buy like 10 billion of them, because that would be the coolest deck I've ever seen. But unfortunately, they are not. Red deck is exactly the same, but the backs are red. Almost like a maroon color, burgundy, I guess you could say. Same back though, just different color. I don't really have a favorite, but I've played with the red deck more than I have the blue. Which leads me on to how they handle. And for that, we'll use the decks that are a little bit broken in. Right out of the box, obviously, they fan very well. And they also, one thing I do like about them is when you spring them, you can spring them as much as you want, and they're not going to hold that bend. They're thin cards, because, I mean, this is a new deck, and I can spring it very easily, but it's, so, like, it's pliable, but crimp resistant at the same time. Now, another thing I like about this deck is the durability. You'll see this is a blue deck that I have used before, still in almost pristine condition, because this red deck I have right here that I have been using, as is evidenced a little bit by the edges, is still in almost perfect condition. It still handles very well, is good for flourishes and things of that nature. And, I mean, usually decks that you use for like a month and a half, as I have with these, get really beat up, but these, I mean, there's not really many crimps or breaks, which is, again, the crimp-resistant features on these decks. So, very nice handling overall. They're durable, first of all, comparable to Arcos. Shuffles and springs and dribbles all feel nice. The edges on the cards aren't rough or anything. They're good for gambling-type moves. Shuffles on the table, because they slide right together, cut nicely, things like that. Good for Magic, because, again, the soft edges don't irritate the fingers, and makes moves just a lot smoother, feel good in the hands, nice and slick, not going to be clumping up on you or anything, especially if you're trying to do moves like a second deal, gambling related things like that. Just play around with them a little bit here for flourishes and things like that. Ooh, doing L cuts at a table is fairly hard. Now, one thing I do want to talk about after I do this, oops, losing a card, okay, is the weave, or the Pharaoh shuffle on these. Again, it's a very nice shuffle, very crisp, feels good, and it's fairly easy to weave these. These do have some bends in them now that I'm playing around with them, so I might not get this perfectly even here. Okay. There. It's not perfect, but they are weaving together pretty nicely and shuffling nicely. So, overall, these cards are very nice for things like flourishes and also for Magic and gambling demonstrations. I would recommend them. They are a little bit pricey for a regular deck that you can buy in stores, like $4, and you'll obviously pay more if you get them off the internet, because they will, they'll be, you have to pay shipping and things like that. But overall, $4 is a very good quality deck. It'll last you a long time. Very durable, nice stock, nice finish. The finish is an airflow finish, if I'm not mistaken. So, out of 10, I'd probably give this deck an 8 or a 9. Very nice deck, handles nicely. Only downside is, I think, the backs aren't shiny, and the pips being a little bit far away from the edges make things like Stevens culling and fans a little bit harder and not as elegant looking. But overall, a very good deck.